Hello students, welcome to your lesson. I hope you all are well and healthy. I'll be teaching your lesson this week on what should I wear, so clothing and accessory vocabulary, along with some verbs that we've been learning. So these are your lesson objectives. You can copy these down. I will not take time to read them because you all can read them very well, but just they are here so that you can know what the purpose of our lesson is today. Let's redo a little review first. So we learned modal verbs of obligation, prohibition, and advice. So what were some modal verbs of obligation? So we have have to, which is obligation from the outside, which is past tense had to. So it's a rule set by someone outside. We have must, which is obligation in a rule or a law, set either by oneself, for oneself, or by a government or authority, right? And then we also have don't have to, which is actually not obligation. It's different from have to, and that we're not obligated. We have the choice to do something or not to do something, right? In the past tense, it's didn't have to. We also have prohibition. What is prohibition? Do we remember an example of the modal verb? Mustn't, right? So something is prohibited by a law or a rule. We mustn't do something, right? If it's that activity is not, we're not allowed to do that. Advice, we have different modal verbs that have more or less the same meaning. We have should and shouldn't, which is advice about what is a good idea or a bad idea. In the past tense is should have or shouldn't have. We also have ought to and ought not to, which has about the same meaning as should and shouldn't. But ought to also means the chance or likelihood of something to happen. So we say, it ought to rain today because there are many clouds in the sky, right? Had better and had better not has about the same meaning as should and shouldn't. And its past tense is had better have. So I'd better have done well on the exam. If not, I won't get into university. Something like that. So let's move on to our lesson today. So this is based off of page 68 in your books. So you can turn to that page. I also added some more clothing vocabulary that I would like you all to learn, and I know you can't read all of the words that are on the slide right here, so please go back to this slide after the video so that you can write down these words and learn them. And I will just clarify a little bit. Clothing is what we wear to cover our bodies, right? So I'm wearing pants, a shirt, socks. We wear that to cover our bodies, right? Accessories are what we add to our clothes. So we might wear a bracelet or a hat or something else to add to our outfit or to our clothing, right? And some more words that I'll just give you guys that I would like you to also learn. Please note that sneakers are the same as trainers. In America, we use the word sneakers more than trainers. So just so you're aware. And like I said, accessories. Here are some different accessories. And we also have materials. So clothing is made of different materials, right? So we have this shirt is made of cotton, likely, or something. Different types of materials, leather, denim. These are denim, or these are black denim pants, right? So when we're using material clothing, the color, any sort of adjective or modifier that we're using to describe an article of clothing or accessory, we use this structure. So modifier plus the article of clothing or accessory. So here are some examples. We have a gold watch, a leather jacket, pants. What might be the type of pants here? Linen pants, right? A red shirt, and wool socks, right? So here, I'll point your attention towards two examples. Here we have pants and socks. You might notice that these are in the plural form and these are in the singular form. So for clothing, all clothing items that are in the plural sense, usually there are two of them. So for example, socks, there are two socks. For shoes, any types of shoes, boots, etc., there are two of them. For pants, a little different because there's only one pair of pants, but there's two legs on the pants. So that's why pants is plural. Say either a pair of pants or two pant legs, right? So just note the difference between singular and plural when it comes to clothes, right? These are also more words that you won't read right now that please I want you to study on your own, the PowerPoint presentation. Also just want to go over some strategies for learning vocabulary. So how do you guys learn vocabulary? there are some strategies that I want to just talk to you guys about that maybe you already do, but maybe you don't, and maybe this would be helpful. So one is keeping a notebook or a folder where you write down all of your new vocabulary. So have a list, a place where you write down new words that you're learning, that you want to learn, etc. Also, write down new words you find and the meaning in your own words. So don't just write down the definition that you find on Google, but also write down the meaning how you understand it. You'll remember it better if you do that. Make a picture or a symbol of the word using no words. So what does the word make you think of? What is a visual or image that you can use to remember the word, right? Write down similar words. So if you know that the word has a similar meaning, or the same meaning as other words, you might be able to remember it better. And also use the word in your writing. So use it when you're talking to people, when you're writing down your homework, to your teachers, etc. Some mnemonic strategies for memory is acronyms. So an example is ASAP, which is as soon as possible, right? Acrostics, you guys know the order of operations probably in mathematics that you've learned. So we know that the order is parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So a lot of times we can use the acrostics, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to remember the words in that set. We also can use the loci method and the peg word method. So loci method usually relies upon a sense of place. So if we, for example, are trying to remember a list of words, we might put the words in a certain place. Like we might say, okay, the pants are in the living room, the shirt and blouse and tie are in the kitchen, etc. So you associate different words that you're learning with different places, and then you can remember them better. And a peg word method too. So 1 is a bun, 2 is a shoe, 3 is a tree. You can add certain vocab words to this rhyme to remember it better, right? There's also apps and online resources. So the app Build Own Dictionary is really helpful. You can make different dictionaries according to the language that you're learning and just add new words, and so you have them always in your phone whenever you're out and about. Quizlet, which you guys know has matching, you can quiz yourself, etc. It's a really great resource. Cambridge Dictionary is a great resource. You can look up any sorts of words or phrases, etc. in English if you're curious about what they mean. And it gives examples too of the word being used. And also just look for the word in books, movies, and everyday life, and write down the different ways that the word appears. Oftentimes, words and phrases are best remembered when we are learned and understood when we see them used in their authentic context, right? So whenever you see the word, write down the different sentence or the ways that it appears. So dialogue. So there's a lot of words for clothing and vocabulary and phrases that I want you guys to learn. So Teacher Hong and I prepared a short dialogue for you all on the theme of getting dressed for a party that I'll have you guys watch now, and afterwards we'll talk about it. Hey Hong, are you going to Sraining's party tonight?
Yes, I'm excited. Are you going?
Yes, I'm going. I don't know what the dress code is though. Do you know how we ought to dress? I haven't been to a party in a while, and I've been dressing mostly conservative at school and at home.
Yes, I asked her and she said we can wear whatever we want. The party is casual and we should wear whatever we feel comfortable in.
Oh, that's awesome. I know it's casual, but I think I'll wear my suit and tie. I really want to dress to the nines.
So what do you think you will wear tonight?
I think I'll wear my regular suit and tie, purple shirt, black trousers, black belt, black shoes, pink tie, and also a white handkerchief to put in my front jacket pocket.
Oh no, Sam is going to look a lot better than me. It will make me feel cheap and lazy, and I have to talk him out it. Wow, so fancy. Is that outfit really your style though? You usually dress down when we hang out for fun. I think you should wear what you prefer wearing and what you feel most comfortable in. You look good in jeans, a t-shirt, trainers, and a cap and bracelet. Plus, that is the fashion trend in our friend group.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't usually wear a suit and tie, and they're not important parts of my wardrobe, but like recently I've realized that when we dress really nicely, that can make us feel really different. Like when I dress really fancy, it makes me feel more confident. And when I'm more confident, I think people notice that and they are attracted to that.
Oh, that's a good point you make. What we wear will define our feelings. I think I ought to look around at different outfits to find out my styles. And I want to try on a suit like you, but I don't have one. Can I borrow one?
That's great that you want to find your unique style. You can definitely try my suit on.
Oh, is it my size? I think your size is too small for me. Plus, purple and pink are not my colors. I prefer wearing yellow shirt.
I know, it's okay. It's okay. I know a good place where I can take you. They make really nice suits, and usually they have discounts too. It won't be too expensive. We'll find you a suit that fits you like a glove.
Oh, great. Thanks, Sam. We are going to knock everyone's socks off at the party tonight. We better go shopping so we can have time to prepare for Srinian's party.
Sounds good.
As long as I got my suit and tie, I'ma leave it all on the floor tonight. And it got fixed up too.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the exciting dialogue that Teacher Hong and I prepared for you. So what did we learn in here from the dialogue? So we learned some new words from it, right? So we learned to dress. To dress is also a verb. So dress, you might know, is like a one-piece piece of clothing that women usually wear, but can also mean to dress, a verb, which is to wear clothes in a certain style or way. So you might say to dress nicely, to dress not nicely, etc. Fancy is formal or very expensive. So if we dress very fancy, that means we wear a suit and tie, we dress with really nice clothes, right? Casual is the opposite. It's very chill and informal. So if we dress casual, that means we dress with sweatpants or jeans, like a t-shirt, etc. So phrasal verbs to put on. So is to place a clothing item or accessory on your body. So I'm putting on the bracelet, putting it on my body. Dress up is to wear formal or dress fancy, right? Dress down is to dress casual, to wear informal clothing. Try on is to put on a clothing item at the store to see if it's the right size for us or if we like it, right? So we try on something before we buy it to see if it's the right clothing item for us. Go shopping is to go to the store to buy things. Usually it means getting clothes or accessories, but it can mean something else too. Phrases, is it my size or do you have it in my size? So Teacher Hong was a little worried that my suit wouldn't fit him, right? It wouldn't be his size. This means the clothing item made to fit someone's body size. Is it big enough? Is it small enough? Does it match the person's body size? If I'm big, if I'm small, is the clothing the right size, right? Is it too small for me? So that means is the clothing item too tight? Tight means there's not enough room to breathe. Oh my gosh. I can't breathe. So if something is too small, that's asking if it's too small or too tight, right? It is not my style. So it is not how I like to dress or appear, right? It's not how I like people to see me, right? Purple and pink are just not my colors. This means these colors do not look good on me. The colors don't make me look good or attractive or beautiful or pretty, etc. There's some other more complex words that are in the dialogue that I just want to explain a little bit here. So we have conservative, which has different meanings. Usually it's used as an adjective. It means against change or progress and very traditional. So we don't want things to change if we're conservative, right? So example, her conservative father does not want to give his workers more rights, right? I should get rid of the two, right? I made a mistake there. And for clothing, conservative means not showing a lot of skin, right? So you see this woman, she's dressed, she doesn't have, her clothing is covering her skin, right? She doesn't show a lot of her skin or her body, right? So we can say she's dressed conservative. Some similar words are traditional, unprogressive, or covered, right? Liberal is kind of the opposite of conservative, and that it means open to new ideas, very open to change, different opinions, etc. Support rights and democracy, etc. Used in big amounts, so if you give someone a liberal check, that means it's a lot of money. And for clothing, it means revealing more skin. So in this example, this woman is wearing a dress that reveals more of her skin, as opposed to the other woman who's wearing, her skin is very covered, right? And some similar words are open, generous, and progressive. Cheap, you might have heard this word, but it's the opposite of expensive. So we say it's not expensive, but it also is likely not made with good quality or it breaks really easily, right? So example, don't buy the cheap refrigerator, it will break soon and you will have to buy a new one, right? There's also buy, which is covered by the thing. Cheap we can also use if someone looks cheap, that means it looks like their clothes are not very expensive and like they don't buy clothes that are of good quality, right? Well, her clothes look really cheap. Against, also cheap is someone who, if we're against spending money on something, right? So if we say, my friend is really cheap because she doesn't pay for a postcard to send me from America, right? Postcard is not very expensive, but if you don't want to pay for it, that means you might be cheap, right? So some similar words. Style is a noun, and it's usually, it means a way of doing something. So you may see a teacher, like Teacher Sam has a certain teaching style, Teacher Hong has a certain teaching style, right? We also have different lifestyles, so how do we live, right? Style is also the appearance or way something is, how it is made. So we can say like trainers or sneakers are a style of shoe, right? Or a type of shoe. Someone's way of dressing or doing their hair, that's also a style. So we could say that he has a lot of style that people like, or Teacher Sam has a certain style. Maybe you disagree, I don't know. A verb, we can also be a verb to style something. So we say make or design in a specific way. So like Teacher Sam styles his hair upwards, right? We could say she styles her hair by twisting it, right? We could say something is in style or out of style. There's different forms. So if something is in style, it's popular, cool. Maybe my clothing's like in style, maybe. Out of style is not cool, not popular, maybe old, right? So these are some similar words. Trend is the way that something is changing or developing. It's a noun. So we might say the trend of temperature in Phnom Penh is increasing, right? So we'd say there's a trend, an upward trend, right? A trend is also something that's the most popular or cool. So like Teacher Hong in the dialogue talked about a fashion trend. So a fashion trend is something that's like really cool or popular, like different combinations of clothing that are really cool and popular, right? For example, the clothing trend today for boys is blue jeans, a t-shirt, and a cap, right? Trend is also a topic that's popular on social media. So like COVID-19 has been a trend on Twitter for the last couple of weeks, right? Different forms, we have trendy and trending, which are both adjectives. They both mean cool or popular, but trending is popular online, so on social media. So if a topic is trending, that means it's really popular on Twitter, for example. And those are some similar words for trend. And we also have discount. So discount is a decrease in the price of something, right? So 10% off, that means that's really good. It means something is 10% cheaper than the original price. So we say we bought a lot of mangoes because there was a discount. A discount, that's amazing. They were cheaper, they were less expensive. A verb, a discount is also a verb, means to decrease the price of something. And it also means to reject or not consider an idea as possible or good. So if we hear a lie about our friend or about our family, we might say we discount that because it's not true, right? I discounted the rude and hurtful comments someone made about my friend. Those are some similar words that you can write down. And then we have some idiomatic expressions with clothing. So idiomatic expression is a phrase or expression that has a figurative meaning different than its literal meaning. So figurative and literal. Literal is exactly what is said, right? So if I say, I went to the store, I literally said I went to the store, right? Or this line literally says exactly the way something is, right? Something in its most real form, it's real, right? Figurative is not literal or real, it's symbolic or metaphorical. So we might remember when we learned about between the line and beyond the line questions. So a lot of times we look for figurative language, or what is the author not saying, stating directly, but what might they mean, right? So figurative is not literal, it's something that's more an image or an idea that we get from something. So some idiomatic phrases from the dialogue are dressed to the nines or dressed to kill. So this means to dress really nice or fancy. It doesn't literally mean dressed to the nines, like number 9, or dressed to kill. It more means to dress really nice or fancy to impress people. Knock people's socks off means to make people really impressed with something. It doesn't mean to literally knock their socks off or take their socks off, but the figurative meaning is to make people really impressed with something, right? And other common idiomatic phrases that involve clothing are put your thinking cap on. So that means to get creative and start thinking about solutions to something. Put yourself in someone else's shoes means to try to consider someone else's perspective. Yeah? And roll up your sleeves. I'm doing that right now. These are my sleeves. And means to get to work, right? Okay, if you're still with me, thank you. We're going to finish our presentation with clothing vocabulary and the present continuous tense. So you might remember the present continuous tense, which is the form subject plus the conjugated form to be, so am, is, or are, plus the base form of the verb plus ing. So an example is I am wearing, or I'm wearing. So we take the verb and add ing. You are going, we are partying, yeah. Usages, so present continuous is used to describe an activity right now. So like, I am presenting or making my video for my 3B students right now. Activity happening around now is maybe something like, I am working on my Fulbright grant right now. That means I might not be doing that exactly like right now at this moment, but I'm doing that in my life, in the stage of my life right now. A planned future arrangement is also used for present continuous. So if we say, I'm going to the party later, means I will be going to the party, or in the future, I will be at the party, yeah? So talking about fashion, in the present tense, we would say, what are you wearing? Or who are you wearing, right? Means what are you wearing right now? Can also be the future, like what are you wearing to the party? What are you going to wear? What clothes are you going to wear at the party, which is in the future? Are you going to the party tonight, right? And we also have our modal verbs of prohibition, obligation, and advice that we learn. So we have obligation, which is have to and must. We can say, I have to wear my uniform at my school, right? It's a rule set from the outside by the principal, right? So I have to wear my uniform at school. Prohibition is mustn't, right? So some of you are taking science classes, right? So you've probably heard your teacher say you mustn't wear open-toed shoes when working in the laboratory, right? You have to wear sneakers. Or you mustn't wear open-toed shoes at school overall, right? Advice, we have all of these verbs which more or less mean the same as, or give advice. At a soccer match, you shouldn't, ought not to, had better not wear your nice dress because it could get dirty, right? So we see that according to different conditions affect what we wear, right? Whether it's different seasons, if it's hot, cold, if it's raining, the type of event, is it fancy or casual, is it an interview, vacation, etc. And that will affect the different clothes and whether we should wear them, whether we can't wear them, whether we better wear them, etc. So thank you so much for participating and taking notes. Please, I'm sure you guys have questions, so please write down any questions that you do have based on the content that I presented today. You can send me questions in Telegram or tell me during our Zoom session, which is coming up very soon. So I look forward to seeing you all there, and thank you all for your hard work. And as always, please stay safe and healthy. We miss you very much at Precliap. Okay, bye-bye.